I'll build a kingdom where everyone can live happily ever after.
Hello guys! Today I will give you a brief overview of the things we currently know about the upcoming Japanese role-playing game Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. This will include story elements, gameplay mechanics, and also to a small extent the graphics and other information. You can also find the sources for the content of this video in the video description, in case you want to look something up yourself. First of all, let's take a look at the story. The story revolves around the king Evan Petruiskatildrum, the young prince of Ding Dong Dell who became king after his father died. While he is kind-hearted and clever, people doubt his ability to rule, considering his age. He is betrayed by Mausinger, the former AD to his father. Mausinger has murdered Evan's father, the king, by secretly serving him poison. After his betrayal, Mausinger staged a coup to dethrone Evan and become king of Ding Dong Dell himself. Now, Evan seeks to reclaim his kingdom with the help of Roland, a visitor from another world. Roland was a 48-year-old powerful president in his original world, but seems to have been rejuvenated in the fantasy world. Later on, they will also be joined by Tani, daughter of the leader of the Sky Pirates, and the Sky Pirate herself. As seen in gameplay footage, Tani's father, the leader of the Sky Pirates Bantu, also joins the fray actively, meaning he is also a playable character in fights. Interestingly enough, the game does not seem to revolve around Evan and company specifically reconquering his kingdom, but rather building an own kingdom first and showing his worth as a king before reclaiming his throne and avenging his family. In order to do so, Evan and friends will go on adventures through other kingdoms and face trials. One of these kingdoms has already been shown, Goldpaw, the gambling kingdom of the dog-like king Pugnacious. Another major plot addition seemed to be the Kingmakers, powerful mythical creatures that protect a kingdom they deem worthy of their protection. Kingmakers are bound to their king by contract, and growing strength as the kingdom grows in power. We have already seen two Kingmakers. Lofty, the small yellow fellow of Evan and the kingmaker of his newly found kingdom by contract, and Longfang, the kingmaker of Goldpaw and huge dragon Evan and company face in D3 footage. In order to obtain a kingmaker, a candidate has to pass a trial, as seen when Evan passed the trial of courage at the King's Cradle by defeating Thog. Let us now take a look at gameplay. First of all, the bad news. Familiars are out. Familiars were considered by many fans to be one of the best gameplay elements in the first game. However, the good news about this allowed level 5 to pace up gameplay, as seen in the trailers, and make it more dynamic. Furthermore, new creatures have been added. These cute little creatures, the so-called Tiggledies, are small pigmin-like fellows, who will help the player fight his way through the game during battle, but also outside of it. Most of the already seen Higgledies seem to be connected to a certain element, for instance fire or wind. At E3 it has been pointed out that there are still more unrevealed Higgledies, some of which have no particular element tied to them. There can be multiple types of Higgledies on the battlefield at once, and you can use them to power up your moves by adding buffs to them and release devastating attacks. Furthermore, they also have further effects if used right, as seen when the Fire Higgledies shielded Evan from the fire damage in the E3 footage. Outside of battle, they seem to contribute to your mobility and help you move to locations you would otherwise not be able to reach. While the first game was to some extent a mixture of turn and real-time based combat, Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom will feature only real-time combat as far as we know. The remaining combat elements, such as melee combat and ranged attacks, seem to profit from this decision, as the overall battle pace looks better and less tedious and slow. However, this is very subjective and depends on what you prefer as a player. Moreover, the switching between characters has been made more efficient and dependable, as stated by the developers. There is also one further new gameplay mode which has been added. While on the overworld map, the players can seemingly fight with the troops of their newly found kingdoms against troops of other kingdoms. This is a brand new mechanic, considering how in the first game the overworld map was only used to get around. Thus, while outside of dungeons and towns, you will be brought to this map and might have the possibility to fight not only the AI, but also other players in online multiplayer, as stated by Eki Hirohino. However, it is yet unknown to what extent the online multiplayer features will be implemented. There's also a major visual difference between the overworld map and while inside dungeons and cities. Instead of being portrayed in the glorious Studio Ghibli animation style, the characters look like chibi characters on the overworld map. For people who don't know this term, your body seems shrunk and the body proportions slightly changed, most of all making your head bigger than it should originally be. The overall art style of the map itself changes from the traditionally colorful animation style inside dungeons and towns to a more realistically looking overworld map. Concerning another major aspect of role-playing games, the customization opportunities, such as weapons and other gear, we can't really say how much we will be allowed to customize our characters. Let us now take a brief look into graphics. As already stated, there are two major animation styles represented in the game. Inside Dungeons and Towns, you will be greeted by a Studio Ghibli-like colorful universe. On the overworld map, you will be represented as chibi characters in a more realistically looking map. Nevertheless, no matter where you are, the graphics look very slick and beautiful. Most of all, the upgrade from native 720p to native 1080p is clearly graphically visible. The upgrade from 30 to 60 FPS is also a major asset of the game. By simply looking at gameplay footage, the 60 FPS are already very noticeable, although I reckon this will be even clearer when playing the game itself. Even considering the subjective nature of animation styles, what one person likes, another one might hate. Both animation styles have been well executed, whether you like the art style or not. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom will be released worldwide for the PlayStation 4 and PC on the 10th November of this year. This concludes our list of already known content. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to remain always up to date, feel free to subscribe. See you around next time.